Women over 60, he'll never tell you, but these 5 things women wear make men secretly love. Welcome to Wise Life After 60. So grateful to have you here. Have you ever noticed how some women, even in their 60s and beyond, seem to capture a man's full attention the moment they walk into a room? Not because they're the youngest, the skinniest, or the flashiest, but because of something far subtler. Believe it or not, the clothes you choose carry an energy, a language all their own. And men are reading it, even if they never say it out loud. In today's video, we're revealing 5 surprising pieces of clothing that men may never confess to noticing, but that secretly make them addicted to women over 60. Before we begin, tap that like button and subscribe to Wise Life After 60, where we share timeless wisdom, life reflections, and the deeper truths about love, aging, and human connection. Now, let's look beyond the surface of fabric and thread and uncover the first piece of clothing that doesn't just cover the body, but quietly communicates confidence, allure, and the kind of presence that lingers long after you've left the room. Clothing secret number 1. Tops and blouses that show off your shoulders and collarbone. For centuries, these parts of the body have carried a quiet elegance, graceful, feminine, and deeply magnetic without being provocative. Unlike more revealing choices, showing the shoulders or collarbone feels refined, almost regal, as if you are allowing just enough vulnerability to draw a man closer without giving everything away. I remember a widower in his 70s telling me about the woman who captured his attention at a dinner gathering one autumn evening. The room was filled with chatter, the clinking of glasses, and the warmth of candlelight bouncing off polished wood. She wasn't in a low-cut dress or adorned with glittering jewels. Instead, she wore a soft ivory blouse, the fabric flowing like water, slipping just slightly off her shoulder so that the delicate line of her collarbone caught the light. He told me later, it wasn't about her age or her figure, it was the way she carried herself. She seemed to know exactly how much to reveal and how much to keep hidden. That blouse did not announce her, but it framed her. It framed the line of her neck, the gentle curve of her smile, the sparkle in her eyes. What struck him was not the garment itself, but the story it told. To him, that single detail, the shoulder revealed, the collarbone illuminated, spoke of confidence without arrogance, femininity without pretense. He couldn't stop watching her, he admitted, not because she was trying to be seductive, but because she looked completely at ease in her own skin. For women over 60, the power of these tops lies in their balance. They celebrate maturity while hinting at timeless femininity. They say, I am confident in who I am and I don't need to prove it, which is often far more attractive than any glitter or glamour. Men may never tell you, but this small reveal is one of the secrets that keeps them watching long after you've left the room. Clothing secret number 2. Dresses that flow, not cling. In a world where fashion often pressures women into tight silhouettes that highlight every line, there is something profoundly captivating about the opposite. A dress that moves with you, that creates softness around your body and allows the imagination to wander. Flowing fabrics carry an elegance that feels timeless, like watching a gentle breeze move through a garden or waves rolling quietly to shore. For women over 60, flowing dresses hold an even deeper power. They don't demand attention. They invite it. They don't bind you to expectations. They free you to express who you truly are. And in that freedom lies a magnetism men cannot resist. They may not tell you, but when they see a dress that dances as you walk, they see more than fabric. They see life, confidence, and the ease that only comes with wisdom. In a sense, a flowing dress becomes a metaphor for your stage of life, no longer tightly bound to the need to fit in or please others, but instead moving gracefully with the currents of your own choosing. And perhaps you've noticed this yourself, that when you choose comfort, movement, and authenticity in what you wear, people respond to you differently. If that resonates, I'd love to hear your experiences in the comments below, because your story might just inspire another woman watching tonight. Clothing secret number 3. A well-fitted pair of jeans. At first, this might sound ordinary, too casual to be considered alluring. But that's exactly why it works. A great pair of jeans carries with it a sense of ease, playfulness, and confidence that men can't resist. It tells him that you're comfortable in your own skin, that you can balance sophistication with approachability, and that you still embrace adventure, no matter your age. I remember a story from a gentleman in his late 60s who spoke about meeting a woman on a weekend trip with friends. Everyone else had dressed formally for the outing, men in sports jackets, women in carefully chosen dresses, polished shoes tapping against the stone floor of a country inn, as though they were attending a gala rather than a simple gathering. The air was heavy with the quiet performance of appearances. Voices slightly louder than usual, laughter more polished than spontaneous, smiles held a little too long. But then she walked in, not with fanfare, not trying to draw a spotlight, but with the kind of unshakable ease that silences a room without anyone understanding why. She wore dark blue jeans, fitted but not tight, the kind that moved with her body rather than fought against it. She paired them with a soft gray sweater, the fabric hugging her gently, and around her neck was a single string of pearls. They glimmered faintly under the warm light, understated yet undeniable, like moonlight caught in water. The contrast was striking. Amid the polished outfits that seemed to belong to the expectations of the evening, she looked like herself, relaxed, present, and quietly confident. She did not look careless, she looked intentional, as though every choice she made was rooted in knowing who she was and what she wanted to project. The gentleman confessed, with a smile that still lingered years later, "I don't even remember what anyone else wore, but I remember her jeans." She looked like she was saying, "I know who I am, and I'm not here to impress anyone. If you want to know me, here I am." What captivated him was not the denim itself, but the story those jeans told. They spoke of a woman who no longer chased approval, who no longer needed to keep up with the performance of perfection. They suggested she was as comfortable exploring life in her 60s as she had been decades earlier, and that comfort was magnetic. To him, those jeans carried a paradox he couldn't resist. They made her appear both timeless and contemporary, youthful and wise. And there was something irresistible about that balance. The elegance of the pearls, symbols of grace and tradition, the softness of the sweater, suggesting warmth and approachability, and the easy vitality of the jeans, hinting at energy, independence, and playfulness. She seemed to embody both the memory of youth and the presence of maturity in one seamless expression. For him, it was as if she carried youth and wisdom together in one outfit, reminding him that attraction has never been about perfection. It has always been about authenticity. They show that you can still be vibrant, active, and modern while carrying the depth of life experience. Men often associate jeans with vitality and spontaneity, but when they see a mature woman wearing them with grace, it reframes the picture. Suddenly, she's not just elegant, she's dynamic, alive, and magnetic in a way that feels effortless. And here's the real secret. It's not about how flawless your body looks in them. It's about how fully your spirit shines through them. When you choose a pair that fits you well, that moves with you, and that feels like an extension of your personality, you're reminding the world that style has no expiration date. And men, whether they admit it or not, are drawn to that freedom, like moths to a flame.
Clothing secret number 4. Elegant scarves and shawls. Elegant scarves and shawls have long been associated with maturity and sophistication. But for many men, they carry an unexpected magnetism. When worn well, a scarf draped over your shoulders or a shawl wrapped gently around you does more than keep you warm. It creates movement, mystery, and a frame for your presence. Men may never confess this, but when fabric flows softly around your neck or cascades down your back, it draws the eye in ways that are subtle, graceful, and deeply alluring. They can be bold or soft, patterned or plain, and each choice speaks volumes. Draped across your shoulders, they suggest both warmth and independence, a kind of confidence that doesn't need to declare itself loudly. Men may never articulate it, but the sight of a scarf being adjusted, tied, or allowed to slip loosely creates an energy of movement that feels both intimate and refined. What makes them addictive is not the fabric, but the way you wear it, with ease, with intention, with the assurance that you have nothing to prove. And in that assurance, men see something magnetic, a woman who carries her years not as weight, but as layers of beauty, wisdom, and grace. Ever noticed how a simple scarf or shawl changed the way others looked at you, or even the way you felt about yourself? Share your experiences in the comments, because your stories often hold the very wisdom another woman needs to hear today.
Clothing secret number 5. Dresses or tops in bold, confident colors. While many women over 60 may gravitate towards safe neutrals, afraid that brighter tones might draw too much attention, the truth is that color carries its own form of energy. A deep red, a striking cobalt, or even a vibrant emerald tells the world something about you. It says you are alive, present, and unafraid to be seen. For men, this is intoxicating, because color signals vitality, and vitality is endlessly attractive. I remember one man telling me about the moment he first noticed his now partner at a community fundraiser. He said the evening itself felt dull at first. The room was filled with polite conversations, the clinking of glasses, and people dressed in muted grays, safe blacks, and soft beiges. Everyone seemed to blend into one another, as though they had agreed to fade into the background together. It was respectable, yes, but uninspiring, and he admitted he had already begun to think about leaving early. And then she walked in. Not loudly, not seeking attention, but carrying herself with a calm certainty that made her stand apart instantly. She wore a scarlet blouse tucked neatly into a simple black skirt. The color wasn't overwhelming, but it glowed like a flame in a room of ash. He said it was as though all the air in the space shifted when she entered. Suddenly, the fundraiser felt alive because she looked alive. What struck him was not her age or figure. She was not the youngest woman in the room, nor the one most carefully dressed. It was that the red seemed to radiate a quiet strength, as if the color had been chosen to mirror her spirit rather than hide it. He told me she looked like the only person there who wasn't afraid of being seen, and I couldn't take my eyes off her. Later, when they spoke for the first time, he admitted that the red blouse had told him more about her than any words could. It suggested passion, courage, and vitality, but also a refusal to shrink into the safe anonymity of the crowd. That single splash of color was not just fabric, it was a statement. It revealed that she still embraced life, still celebrated her presence, and still carried fire within her. And that, he confessed, was addictive. They aren't about competing with younger women or trying to shock. They are about showing the world that you still have light, still have energy, and still have something worth celebrating. And men notice this more than they will ever say aloud. To them, bold colors aren't just attractive, they are reminders that the woman before them is vibrant, alive, and unwilling to fade quietly into the margins of life. Men may never tell you this, but when they see you in a bold color, they don't just notice the clothing, they notice the confidence behind it. It becomes addictive because it reminds them of something they crave deeply. A partner who is alive in every sense of the word. So let's remember the 5 clothing choices men will never tell you about, but that quietly draw them in again and again. Tops and blouses that show off your shoulders and collarbone. Dresses that flow instead of cling. A well-fitted pair of jeans. Elegant scarves and shawls, and bold colors that radiate vitality. Each of these is far more than fabric. They are symbols, carrying messages of confidence, freedom, and authenticity that men instinctively respond to. The truth is, men may never put these cravings into words, but what they are really addicted to is not the clothing itself, but the woman within it. These choices allow your wisdom, presence, and energy to shine without apology. They tell the world and the man beside you that you are still vibrant, still full of life, and still worthy of being seen. Before you go, take a moment to tap that like button and subscribe to Wise Life After 60, where we share timeless wisdom on love, aging, and the art of living with depth and confidence. Thank you for watching. And remember, true attraction after 60 isn't about trying to be someone else. It's about honoring who you already are and letting that presence light the room in a way no one can ignore.